Well, today, I think we should have a drum roll, but anyway, today is the launch of Gnomes and More Gnomes. And if you like charming, if you like sweet, you're going to love this set. And there are all of these components, and we'll be walking you through all of them. And let me just show you one of the absolutely charming projects that Lene has done. And isn't that cute? And look how that honey shines. Okay, won't you please play with us? Well, before we get into the projects, let me just walk you through what the product is, and I'll set these aside. But we're going to start with the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock because that pretty much sets the tone for everything. And let me show you what we have. There are 12 sheets. They're 12 by 12. They're double-sided, just like always, 176 GSM. And there are also 52 cutouts. So let me show you. So we've got gnomes in different settings. So this is our gnome that's in a garden or in the woods, whatever you like. And what you can see is this little guy with some dandelions, which of course we would like that at Paper Wishes, and another one in a swing, and this one's sitting in a tree. So very nice. Now there is a product video, which we call a product video, and it's on every single one of the items of this collection on paperwishes.com. And in that place, I talk about that if you're a scrapbooker, well, of course, this is where you're going to put your photos. But if you're a card maker, or you do junk journals or tags or whatever, you can kind of look at this as 4 pieces, and you can see that each one is designed to work beautifully as a card. Now this is the front of the sheet. The back of the sheet has some just kind of ghosted back mushrooms and woods, and just a really pretty pretty background, very useful too. The next one is we have our gnomes, and some of them with mustaches and some of them without mustaches, you will notice. And they are in the hydrangea garden, and they're just beautiful as the hydrangeas go all around this sheet. And on the back side, we have another little hydrangea gnome with this dotted border and then this kind of lacy border. So lots of use for that. Now we are going into the desert, so we have our little guys with cactus. And these are blowing bubbles, which is very fun with a little bird. This one is chilling out, and this one is playing a guitar. So, and you can see the very pretty background. On the back of this, kind of looks like denim, doesn't it? That's going to come in handy. Now there's the guys that I showed you in the beginning with that card are using honey. So we're going to have bumblebees, and I absolutely love this guy who is holding a bee. And he's doing he's got the beehives and also the finished honey. And you can see the top part has some really pretty pink with the honeycomb in the background. On the back of this is an absolutely beautiful floral background that will work nicely in the collection. Now here's the beginning of the 52 cutouts. These are the large ones, and they measure almost 3 by 6, a little bit shorter than that. There's also 2 rows of borders, and you can see that we've captured all of our scenes of our gnomes with the honey, with the hydrangeas, in the garden, as well as with the desert. On the back of this, there is a leaf pattern, which was really pretty. Then these are the cutouts. And you can see that they just do a really nice job of capturing these little guys as well as doing some greetings. Now some of them will let you do the greeting, or you can overlap them, just whatever you choose. So that is our story. And on the back of this is a pink floral. So those are the sheets that you'll get. You'll get 2 of each. And also, of course, this is from hot off the press. So on the back of the package, you will have a scrapbook page and a card idea. But I do have the scrapbook page here for you because we always want to keep in mind our scrapbookers. And so there's 3 photos that are matted on the solids, which I'll show you next. Here's our little guy swinging from a tree. And here's the one in the garden with more of the cutting dies. And this is one of the chipboard pieces and some of the die cuts. So many of the pieces are used in this. So just, you can see it just does a really great job. So we'll set that aside, and our 12 by 12, and then we have coordinating solids. Now in this, you're getting 12 sheets, but you're getting 12 shades of color, and let me show you how we do that, because it really works very, very nicely. So every sheet, of course, is colored, but on the back, so this is kind of a medium green, on the back there's a darker green. That's going to come in really handy for all of those ferns and other things. We have a gold here and a yellow on the back, a blue with a light blue, a darker pink, really a good medium pink with a very light pink on the back. Now here's another green. This is kind of a lime green with white on the back, and the white's going to come in handy for their beards, and purple on the back side with a tan. And so all of those colors, in fact, let me just lay them out for you here, and you can just see what a wonderful array of colors those are. And then when we flip them over, we have the same thing, just in different shades. So that works out beautifully. And I hear many, many times how much people love having everything coordinating for them, and then they can get into the fun part, which is playing with all the papers and goodies. Now this is the 6 by 6, and in this pack you're going to get 4 of every single sheet. Now they're the same artwork, so but you're going to get 104 cutouts, okay? So here is the same little guys as I showed you before. There's the back. There's our little hydrangeas and the back of that. Here we have our guys in the desert with cactus, and the back with the blue jeans, denim, and here's our honey gnomes and the back of that. And these are the larger cutouts with the border and the leaves, and then these are the cutouts, just like I said before, and the little pink floral. And again, you're going to get 4 of each, and as always, there is an idea on the back of the package. I think we're the only company that does that, but our feeling is that we want you, when you get the product, we want you to be able to create immediately, because everything we want is right now, and that will just make it so much easier, won't it? Okay, now we're going to go to our die cuts. There are 31, which is typical for hot off the press. There are 2 different sheets, and let me just show them to you. Now this one has, of course, both of them have the artwork that's coordinating with the gnomes and just giving you a lot of ideas, a lot of themes that you can use, as well as a border. And notice they're all pre-matted for you, so we just made it one step easier. And then this sheet has some greetings, as well as more of the guys and another longer border. So you can cut that in half, you can do whatever you want. And as I said, it's hot off the press, so of course there are ideas on the back of the page. And I show them to you in that product video that you can see later. Now we also have chipboard, and the chipboard is unique in that, we'll get it even closer. There are 12 pieces, well, maybe, okay. This is a 6 by 6 piece. There are 12 pieces in it. You can see the gnomes, and notice the detail on the chipboard, even the dots for the mushrooms, as well as Gnome Sweet Gnome. But even on the gnomes, I'll show you some finished projects, and it just makes it so much easier to use these because they are etched for you. Again, of course, there's an idea on the back. Finally, and last but certainly not least, are our cutting dies. There are 18 of them, and what is kind of wonderful is that you can do some layering. So for instance, we have this big mushroom. There are 3 mushrooms. We have this big one, but then there's a separate cap that you can put on top. Same thing with our 2 gnomes. Their beards are separate pieces, and they can go on top. That's for the white paper. Then we also have a little piece here that has the mustache and 2 hands to go on our guy that has the mustache. Again, it's going to give a little bit of layering opportunity. And then of course their hats are separate, so that also makes it fun. There's the big hat and the little hat for the 2 gnomes. We've got ferns, which are very important in here, as well as some grasses, and as I said, there are 3 mushrooms, so that's great. Again, I have some examples, and there is a project on the back of the package. Okay, let's get into today's projects that Lene has done for us. And here is the first. So this is using the chipboard as well as the papers. So isn't that fun? Now, let me show you what she used. And this is, as you can see in the background perhaps, this is the first sheet that I showed you, but Lene has chosen to use this. And you can see that this, this mushroom and the fern are kind of behind our little guys. So she has cut this out to go on the card front, and then she double matted it. And you see that there's a dark green and then a lighter green. Well, the way you get those, here's the dark green, the lighter green's just on the other side. Isn't that convenient? So that's what she's done. She has double matted it. And then she added at the top the "Have a Great Day" cutout. And that's a fun shape to just kind of nestle next to that straight edge. Now she's also gone into our chipboard. And this is where it makes it so easy to do some coloring. So you can see those lines underneath the mushroom cap are there. And she's done some coloring. Our little gnome is also colored, you can see. And she used the tri-blend markers for that. They are listed on the listing in the instructions. There are not instructions, but listing of the materials that she used and the colors. So the ferns, there's 2 ferns here, and there's one lighter and one darker. And they just do a nice job of being in front of that scene that was on the 12 by 12 sheet. Now, to add a little bit more, she has our gold pearl butterfly dazzles fluttering in the back. And she has also used, in this case, there's just one on the lime dazzles. You can see I took one off, and she has it right there. But I think inside she uses more. So I just want to show you on those, the chipboard. The ferns were glued down straight because they are a little more delicate. The gnome was placed first, he's foam taped, and then the mushrooms are overlapping him, and then this one's overlapping the larger mushrooms. So you'll add multiple layers of your foam tape to get that look. And the tri-blend markers that were used are these: fair skin, brown gold, tan, ice gray, and dull green. But again, you have 3 colors in every single piece, so that works nicely. Okay, let me look inside. Now this is using the other side of that same sheet. So this part of the sheet on the left was used on the front of the card. On the inside of the card, we have this area, and you can see the stones there and the mushrooms. And this is going to be a little simpler. Let me get that out of the way, because you know, you don't need to do as much decorating on the inside of your card. And the beginning one says, "Have a great day." So Lene decided to make it a happy birthday, and she used our birthday stickers. There's 3 in this package. They're white, brown, and gold. So there's the happy birthday, nice bold statement. This is another of the cutouts. Few more of the lime dazzles are on this, and more of those butterflies are fluttering, as you can see, and just nicely. Now she did do some inking on the edge. She used the khaki ink pad, and Lene likes to use the brown wooden tool, blending tool. So she's done that along the edge. She did do it on the front of the card too. Might be a little tricky to see that, but it is just right there. So that is our first look at the gnomes, and our chipboard does a nice job. So now let's go to our second one. And here she has the gnomes in the hydrangeas. So this again, oh no, this is a different size card. This is the tent card, but it is the tent card with stitching. So Jeanette, let's get in real close just to see that stitching, so you can see what I mean. So it goes all the way around the card, and because it's a tent card, the fold is at the top. So this is by Hunky Dory, and is quite popular with everyone. Now, what Lene did in creating this is she used a 6x6 paper, the Gnomes and More Gnomes, and this is the one that is on the back of the hydrangea. So this is the one that has the dots. It also has the two borders, border on this side and border on this side. But in this case, she wanted to capture that little guy, and so she has cut this piece just like so. She matted it on the pink, but before she matted it, she did ink the edges, and in this case, she used the teal, so that worked nicely. And this is the pink. So I know you saw it in the beginning, but it's just kind of nice to see it again. So she has matted that blue on the pink, and that works well. Now, gluing that first, then she took the circular cutting dies, so the circles and scalloped, and she used, I think it's about a 3-inch one. So you're going to put your paper, mat your paper, glue it on the front, and then you're going to put your cutting die here, and you can just run it through your die cutting machine. So, but you do want to get your papers on there first. Now, she also inked the edges with that same color, so that worked out nicely. Now, then you can remove it, and I think it's really fun how she's got the, let me show you. This is the little guy. It's also, this is part of the die cuts, and this is also with the hydrangea. So you can see there's an open space. Well, she has used Hello Dazzles, and this is from the More Greetings, and there are 75 greetings in here because there are multiple sheets in multiple colors. And in this case, she used the Hello, and look how fine that is. Just really, really nice. And on the back of that, I guess maybe I should, let me stick with the front, okay? So this is using the cutting die. Now again, you saw the cutting die in the beginning, and you can see all the colors that are used. So that pink that she matted, well, you can see the pink there for the mushroom, but there's the magenta for his hat, and that worked nicely. The greens, you've got 3 colors of greens in the solid colors, and you can see how beautifully they go right around that circle that she die cut. And the leaves, or the ferns, are meant to be curved. They're designed to be curved, so that is perfect. And you can see even one there. And the butterflies, well, those are all part of the cutting dies. And she's got 2 of them and done those in the pink also. So, and this little guy, I just want to point out, remember I said that there was some extra dies that are right here, okay? So there's the mustache, you can see. There, and the nose is 1 unit, and the beard is right here. And she's done that out of the white. And then the hands are also right here. And she's done those and put them on top, so that gives him a little dimension, and that works quite nicely. Nice to have the mushroom behind him, and especially those ferns around there. So that's our front. And the colors that I showed you in the beginning, you can use those on many of these, but she has used the hot pink ink on the pink things, and that works out. You can see kind of a blush on the edge of the butterfly. The cocoa bean, that's going to work for his feet and so forth, so you can use those. Now on the inside of the card, well, as I said, she has used the denim and matted on the same pink, and then the hello is foam taped in place, and there's another mushroom, you can see, and more ferns right there. So that's just doing a really nice job of our second card. Before I move on, I need to tell you about these little flowers. Now these are the, they are, The little birdie, oh goodness. Well, the item number is in the listing, but you can see the shades of pink that are there, and that's really works nicely with so many things. And we like these because they are a smaller size, and I'll be showing you some other ones in just a moment. So that works nicely. And then Lene did use the white jewel dazzles. There are 540 on a sheet. She used 2, okay. And let me see inside. Did she use any? No, she didn't. So you're going to have a whole lot left, so that'll work. I'm sure that that will work well for you. Okay, so that does complete that project. Now we're going to go into our honey gnome. I think this is my favorite. And again, very clever. She used the sheet in a good way. As I explained when we started, that you can do 4 cards out of any sheet. Well, Lene has used this upper area, and she's used this for the front of her card. Again, her card is 6.5 by 5, so she's used this area. And as we're designing these, I actually have a frame that I use to put over it to make sure that we can get those 4 cards perfectly out of the paper, that the art will support that. So you can see that this extends nicely, but it doesn't take over the whole piece. What I love that she did is, going back to our circle cutting dies, is she used a scallop one and scalloped this little guy out. And I thought that was really an interesting idea. Then she inked the edges with the cocoa bean. And also, do you see that shine that's going on? Doesn't that look like honey? I think it's brilliant. And what she used is the crystal lacquer. And what I love about the crystal lacquer is that it will, it doesn't puff up, but it looks raised, and it's just a natural thing that the crystal lacquer does. So she did that on the honey that's obviously flowing on his hat. She also did it on the wings of the bees, and even the little bee wings that he is holding. So just really charming. Now, the gingham, that gingham bow is part of the brown ribbon set, so that works nicely. And she also used 2 of the border dazzles. These are the brown ones. You can see it has the gold edging, and that is right here. So just those 2. And then she also used these little flowers. Now, these are pretty new. These are the, I believe they're called honey and apricot. So, and they are about 3/8 of an inch wide. So they're a nice size. And don't they work perfectly in with this card and the art that's there? So just some really nice things that are going on there. Now, Be the Sunshine. Okay, remember I told you that the die cuts have one sheet that's got greetings on it, and Be the Sunshine is right there. So she has simply foam taped that up. Now, inside her card, okay, the front of her card, she used the upper left corner. On the inside of her card, she used the upper right corner. And I think that is a really good way to go. Now, in this case, they're just, she has inked those edges with the cocoa bean and simply glued it down. She didn't put any of the crystal lacquer, but she certainly could have. The happy birthday, well, the happy birthday is part of the cutouts page. And there it is at the top. In fact, that even has the little honeybee next to the gnome, and so it just matches quite perfectly. So just really, really sweet. And I love that crystal lacquer on there. Okay, I have one more card, and here it is. And this is a 6x6 card. So we do have these in packages. With 6x6 cards, you get 10 of them, and you also get 10 envelopes, so that works nicely. Now, in this case, Lene is using the 6x6 papers, and she has used this one, which is also kind of the garden, and she has trimmed it down, just really getting from here over over to the flowers, not letting our little swinging guy in the scene. So you can see. And then she matted it on the green. So as I've said, you've got 3 shades of green. And for the back of her, or behind her card, she used this sheet. Now this is on the back of those large cutouts. So that goes down, then this piece, and then this piece is matted. So that's the construction of her card. The Let's Stay Gnome, that is, of course, out of the die cut. So nice big piece. She has used the gingham ribbon to just do a knot and zot that in place. And then she added our new bluebird dazzles. You can see 2 of them fluttering. And then to match that, she used our blue mirror dazzles. These are the jewel dazzles, but they are in the same finish as the bluebird. So you can see it's that mirror finish. Okay, and the green around the edge, that's our khaki again. Just a really useful color. Now on the inside, she has used this same paper, trimmed it down, and then she went into the, here we go, with the die cuts. So here is one of the borders, and as I mentioned, you can trim them down, and Lene did that, just ran it right here. And then she took this one that has one of the little gnomes right there, foam taped that. Hello Friend, well that's from the other sheet right there, and has glued him straight. And there's one of the little flowers again. The jewel dazzles are in the corners and right there. And that takes care of that guy. So we have all of those, so many things that you can do with this collection. So, and if you are a VIP with us, which all you do is sign up, and when you check out, we total your orders. When they reach $500 in a year, a rolling year, then you're going to get VIP status. And what that means is that every month you will get 6 sheets of the 12 by 12 brand new collection before the webisode, and so you get a chance to see them and play with them. And many of our VIPs have told me how much they love these. They are just so charmed. Even one lady said she's really not a great fan of gnomes, but she really likes these. So a woman of great taste, I believe. So let me just recap for you what's in this collection. So we have our 12 by 12 pattern cardstock. And we have our 12 by 12 solid coordinating cardstock. And we have our 31 die cuts. We have our cutting dies. We have our chipboard. And we have our 6 by 6 gnomes and more gnomes. And you can see why we titled that, because there are so many gnomes. Now there is a money saver on the right-hand side of your screen. It's going to have all of these, and you get a bit of a savings. So that's a nice thing to do. Should you want to get the collection every month? Now, every month we do a brand new collection. It's going to have these elements, but of course, different artwork. And if you would like to get that, we have a way that that can happen. Now, if you would like everything, maybe not the cutting dies for some reason, we call it I Want It All. Now, in that, you'll get it every month. You'll get it before the webisode, and you will save 20%. 20%, people, not a bad deal. So you just want to subscribe to this, again, the right-hand side of your screen. Now, if you say, Paulette, well, of course I want the cutting dyed. Of course I do. Well, then we have one for you, and it's I Really Want It All. Same 20%, same thing, you're going to get it before the webisode airs. And because we have those ideas on the packaging, you can get started right away. In fact, many of our VIPs have told me they've already made multiple things, scrapbook pages and cards. So that's a nice way to go. Okay, so there is the collection. Here is the official launch. I hope that you will enjoy this as much as we did in creating it for you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I do want to tell you, in fact, I want to tell all of you, paperwishes.com is the only place that you can buy this. They're not available anywhere else on the planet. So come here, and as always, we always give you ideas in the packaging and in the webisodes. So that will help If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, we hope you'll like us and subscribe. Head on over to Paper Wishes and check all of this out. I think you're going to be absolutely charmed when you get closer looks at these. And if you would like to leave us a comment, you can do it on YouTube. You can also do it down below. So just scroll down. You keep scrolling down, down, down. You'll find it. You don't have to have purchased in order to leave a comment, so that's perfectly fine. But we'd love to hear what you think. Okay, so this is what we have. This is our brand new release. And I want to thank you for joining us. And most of all, I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. And good job, Lene.